It was a hot, sunny day in the middle of July in Holland, Michigan. I pulled into my parents' driveway, where I could see my dad wearing a Washington Redskins shirt and hat. I saw my high school principal, Mr. Stahl, and his 3 boys, all of whom had NFL trading cards for me to sign. There was a rider with a bag slung over his shoulder waiting to interview me. There was a time when I didn't see myself playing college football, much less the scene that is now before me. It has been a wild and certainly unexpected journey that has landed me in the NFL with the Washington Redskins. Less than 3 months ago, I sat in my parents' family room and took a phone call from Washington Redskins head coach Mike Shanahan, telling me that they were going to select me with their next pick in the NFL draft. My heart sank. I had had very little interaction with the Redskins in the days leading up to the draft, and they had already used the 2nd overall pick to select their franchise quarterback, Heisman Trophy winner Robert Griffin III. Out of 32 NFL teams, I figured they were the 32nd most likely to draft me. I was polite to Coach Shanahan, but shocked. I hung up the phone and said to my family, "The Redskins are going to take me." Rather than the celebratory scene I'd dreamed about, there was a quiet somberness that filled the room. I wouldn't even have the opportunity to compete for the starting job. A moment later, an NFL official stepped to the podium and said, "With the 7th pick of the 4th round, number 102 overall of the NFL draft, the Washington Redskins select Kirk Cousins, quarterback, Michigan State." And just like that, my life had changed, and the NFL draft moved on to the 103rd pick. It was a chilling reminder of the fact that professional football is a business, and they're not in the business of making me feel happy. My family and I sat there in silence. A moment later, the draft experts began debating my selection. Why would the Redskins take a 2nd quarterback? Based on their discussion, it sounded like I was going to be the most controversial pick of the draft. My family and I had been praying for months that God would put me where He wanted me. We had released the draft process to Him. Now, like so many times before, I would have to put my words about trusting God into action. As I stepped out of my car, I could hear my dad telling Mr. Stahl's boys about the severe burns I had received when I was 19 months old. In a freak accident, Kirk pulled a pot of boiling water over on himself and severely burned his chest, stomach, upper arms, and underarm areas. After 2 weeks in the hospital, the doctor told Kirk's mom and me that he should be all right, although he may never be able to throw a ball properly. Time will tell as he grows if his range of motion will be limited due to the severity of the burns, the doctor said. My chest, upper arms, and underarm areas were classified as 3rd-degree burns. Considering this doctor's statement, the fact that I played college football and will now, Lord willing, be making a living throwing the football is a miracle reflecting God's healing power. Trusting God has been a lifelong theme. I certainly felt the struggle to trust Him on draft day. While the experts droned on about my unexpected selection, which was later in the draft than I thought it would be, Kyle broke the family room silence. "Why are we disappointed?" he asked. "We should be thrilled. Kirk was just drafted to play in the NFL." Kyle was right. It was time to trust God that He had answered our prayers and that He had, in fact, placed me with the Washington Redskins by His design. This wasn't the first time I had to trust God despite the way everything looked around me. Let me go back a few years to where the act of trusting God began for me. My family moved to Holland, Michigan, as I was starting 7th grade. Holland is a town that's famous for something called the Tulip Festival, its proximity to Lake Michigan, and family values. All of that to say, it's not famous for football. My parents had enrolled me, Kyle, and Carolyn into Holland Christian schools. I learned that Holland Christian had just started a football program 2 years earlier and didn't even have a varsity team. The first varsity team was scheduled to take the field when I was a freshman. My dream since the 4th grade was to play major college football. For this to happen, I needed to be recruited by schools. I knew how the recruiting process worked, and I knew that a player's sophomore and junior years of high school were critical. I was encouraged by a strong freshman season when our freshman team went 9-0. My sophomore year, however, our 4 best